Yesterday I watched Spider-Man Brand New Day. At the time, I enjoyed it. When I came out of the cinema, I thought, yeah, it was good. When the end credit scene came up, I was thinking, yeah, I enjoyed that. I thought it was alright. I wasn't mind blown or anything like that. On my way home, and when I got home, I started thinking about there was 2 points that really bugged me, and I started thinking about it. The more I thought about it, the more I thought, did I enjoy the film? I think I still did enjoy the movie, but there was two plot points that didn't need to be there or could have changed. I'll address the major one because that kind of fixes the second one. So the major one for me is the idea that this is going to be a spoiler talk, by the way. So that's your warning. So the main plot point for me is that the idea that Jean Grey is the key villain, or is one of the main villains of the movie. She does do villainous stuff, but I don't believe her villainy. I kind of think she has quite a good motive to want to break into this facility called Damage Control. She's pretty sure that they've kidnapped her sister. That's kind of confirmed. Like she's a telepath. She can receive messages, and she saw them like kidnap her sister. So she's got pretty decent reason as to why she would want to break in there. Now, there is an argument to be said that maybe she doesn't really trust anybody because of this. She doesn't trust anybody who's different. Or she doesn't trust anybody because they treat people who are differently. If that makes sense. I think it's implied, if I remember correctly, that her parents abandoned her and her sister because they were different. So it makes sense that maybe she would want to work on her own. However, a part of me also goes, well, Spider-Man's pretty different. And all she really has to say to Spider-Man is, hey, sooner or later they're gonna kidnap you. They're gonna want to use your powers against you and use them for, out of your control. They're gonna use them for good. They're gonna use them for bad. Whatever. So the fact that she keeps possessing these civilians and kind of being all mysterious and doing all this stuff that is quite villainy, I would say that it doesn't really add up. A part of me just kind of thinks, why doesn't Jean just go to Spider-Man and say, hey, this dodgy company that you've been working with have kidnapped my sister, and I'm gonna get her out, whether you're with me or not. I'm breaking in there and I'm saving her. So you can either get out of my way or you can help me. So it doesn't stop her from just wanting to break in. It's basically her saying, get out of my way or you can help me. So then that could proc Spider-Man to go, okay, well, let me just go and ask my top secret agent friend, i.e. Black Widow, who's in the movie, to go, okay, can you just search up this company? And then it goes to the interview scene, or where she's in the spa or whatever, right? Can you just look up this company? I've had a tip that they're really dodgy, but they're working with the government, or I don't know whether they're government or private or whatever. I don't really know. So can you look them up? Maybe she looks them up. Maybe she asks, who's the main director? Who's the main person in charge? You can give the name of the person in charge, who I can't remember for the life of me. And then she can turn around and be like, oh, he's got a lot of redacted stuff on him. It's not usually a good sign when the director has a lot of has a bit of a shady past and a lot of redacted stuff. So maybe, yeah, you should look into this. Okay, so we cut to Peter Parker going, hey, yeah, that company that you said might be a bit dodgy, we should totally look into them. We should form a plan, right? So he goes into Avengers mode. He's like, we should form a plan, and we could do this. And Jean Grey could just turn around and go, yeah, I've got a plan. I'm on my way there now, and I'm going to go and kick the door in. And Peter Parker be like, wait, no, we need to form a plan. And, you know, last time a plan didn't get followed, half the universe went to shit. So we need to form a plan. And what do you mean you're on your way to go and kick the door in? It's like, how are you going to kick the door in? And then she could be like, well, I've brought a boot. Or I've brought a battery ram, i.e. the Hulk. So then he turns up to the facility. It's already wrecked. And it just goes into the Hulk Jean Grey scene. Like the Hulk, Jean Grey, Peter Parker, and the Punisher scene. It just goes straight into that. So that would be the way that I would do it, rather than Jean Grey wanting to be all villainy and mysterious and kind of doing what she's been doing. I don't understand why she couldn't just say, I'm going to go and break into this thing. And you do it like a lot of Marvel comics, when they do the this person versus this person, they often become teammates. And I think that could have been the direction that they should have gone in, because then it shows Jean Grey as not just a complete dick. And speaking of Jean Grey being a complete dick, the second point, which really rubs me up the wrong way, and I doubt they're ever going to really address it. They address it a little bit in the movie, but not really to its fullest extent. Is Jean Grey takes over MJ's body, obviously without her permission, against her will. She takes over her body, and then plants a wet one on Peter Parker. Now, granted, Jean Grey, MJ are similar age, so for me, it seems as though would Jean Grey take over the body of a lady and then kiss Peter Parker against MJ's will? Like, does that not feel a bit like, ooh, like I couldn't see another girl doing that to another girl and being fine of it and never really mentioning it again. And wiping our hands clean. They address it a little bit later on, where Peter Parker actually brings it up and apologizes and kind of says, I just think you should know that this is what happened, but I thought it was you. I didn't think it was a possessed person. So, and MJ is like, it's fine, like, I don't remember, so no biggie kind of thing. So they kind of resolve it in a somewhat roundabout way, but just the idea of Jean Grey thinking, this will be funny, or this will be fine, like, and I don't think they're ever going to meet ever in any other future projects. Maybe they will, but I can't see imagine the conversation, Jean Grey going up to MJ being like, yeah, I did this and I'm sorry and that's really wrong of me. Maybe they could address it, but also the movie was a fair bit of length. It was quite long. So if you stopped Jean Grey being a complete dickhead, and then you could cut that scene out. Like, it was a powerful scene in the sense of it was just shocking, and in the cinema everyone was like, oh my god, like, that's so mean, like, why would you do that? But I just think I don't think it was worth the payoff. And yeah, just make Damage Control the main villains. Just make that they're already shifty. We already know they're the villain. Excuse me. We already know they're the villain. We already know they're the bad corporation. Just make them the main villain, and just have Black Widow look into them. She finds out they're a bit wrong, and then before Peter Parker can form a plan, Jean Grey is already down there kicking the door in, and the movie just goes pretty much the same way. What do you guys think? I don't really know. Like, a part of me is just like, oh, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, oh no, did I convince myself I don't like the film? I think I did still enjoy the movie. I do still enjoy the movie. I just think Jean Grey being this villain, like, she had good motive to just want to break in there. Why she didn't just ask Peter Parker for help, I have no idea. Even just a telepathic message. I know she struggled to get into his head, but maybe just sending a telepathic message would have been fine. Or just sending one of her little puppets to go over and ask, like, hey, we need to stop this organisation because the organisation is pretty bad. I don't know. Let me know. This is kind of like a lo-fi video. I'm not going to bother editing much, so there it is. There's my TED Talk. Ciao.